Hey, I'm Chef D. Not only do I love serving food, I love being around a table. I love a great conversation, and I love finding out more about people, what makes them who they are. So join me at the kitchen table with me, Chef D. Hey, it's Chef D. Welcome to my podcast, At the Kitchen Table with me, Chef D. And I have a really cool guest here, and we're going to get into some great conversation. I met Kevin, it's been a couple decades ago now, when you're with WeCare Foundation. So, hey, welcome to the podcast, young man.
Thank you for having me, Chef.
So let's get into it. Easter seals. What is Easter seals?
Easter Seals is an organization that has been in existence for 101 years now. And their primary focus is to provide funding for mobility and accessibility equipment for kids, youth, and young adults with a physical disability, ensuring that they have the opportunity to have free mobility, access to their homes, access to their schools, just to live life as normal as possible. And the other incredible thing that we do, is you are very well aware of, Chef, is we own and operate 2 fully accessible summer camps here in the province of Ontario. And these camps, as you know, are set up so that they're fully accessible. There's no restrictions for these kids, no barriers, no curbs. They can be kids. They can do anything from the 40-foot high ropes course or the 70-foot drop zone course, and sledge hockey, wheelchair basketball, arts and crafts. And one of my favorite things is life skills, cooking. So we set these kids up, no pun intended there, Chef. We set these kids up for an opportunity to learn these life skills, so as they advance in life, they get an opportunity to be independent.
Which is really cool. And I remember years ago, you kept bugging me going, come on, Chef, you got to come to camp. You got to come to camp. You got to come to camp. So my wife and I, Trish, finally did come to camp. And that was the coolest experience, because I don't know what I was expecting. I really don't. But all I heard was laughter from the time that I got into the camp until the time we left that day was just something to really behold and see these kids that have disabilities be kids again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not have parents around and not have to be perfect, which is, again, another important aspect of it, right?
Well, it puts them in an environment, Chef, where they're around other kids who are dealing with similar challenges that they are on a day-to-day basis, and they learn from each other. And they get to experience lifelong friendships, and you touched on a very, very important aspect too, is for a lot of these kids and their families, this is the one time a year, or the only time, that they are separated from their families or their caregivers. So they're in an environment at our camp where the parents or the caregivers know that they're in a safe environment, that they're going to be treated strong, well, and get the meds and all these things that they need that they require. And so, it gives the parents that 8 days of respite, where they can, have a bit of a break themselves. Because quite often, we've met a number of these incredible campers, Chef, and quite often they're 24 hours a day, 365 days a year care. And so giving those parents and the campers themselves that bit of a break is it's life-changing, And I got to share a little story with your people here is we all know the incredible generosity that you bring to the table, no matter what you do or where you do it. But the one highlight for me is your patience and willingness to teach and showcase the skills of chopping an onion or preparing, because for those that are on the podcast or listening, Chef comes in and he does a dinner for the kids and prepares it for them, and then the board of directors of WeCare then serve it to the kids. And but the one part is there's a portion where some of the kids who are willing or wanting get a chance to go into the kitchen and work with you, and
Mhm.
watching that and getting them to visualize, likely for the very first time, how a knife works and how it works safely, and them coming away from that knowing that they can do this when they go home or when they go on in life. So uh, you know for me, that was a real turning point, to be able to witness that, and much gratitude to you for your patience and willingness to do that.
One of my favorite pictures ever, and it just popped into my mind, is you and I after the one camp dinner, just sitting down and laughing. It was a
Yeah,
really great day.
yeah.
Um, Not only are you, what's the role again with, sorry, your role with,
President, CEO.
right,
Yeah.
but you were an Easter Seals ambassador as growing up, right? Sorry, you
Yeah.
lived the walk from day one.
Yes. Yeah, being born with cerebral palsy,
Mhm.
Easter Seals has played a significant role in my life, right as a child. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get assistance from them for, some of the mobility aids that I need. I have walkers and scooters, growing up. But I also got to be a camper for 8 summers as a kid. So, I was one of those I wouldn't say hellraisers, but yeah, it's probably no better way
Yeah,
to
you were.
describe it, eh, Chef?
No, yeah, let's call a spade here. Yes, you were, because
And
you are
so,
now.
well, I change a good thing, right? But
Right?
for
Well, yeah.
the things that I learned from those years of experience, and then as you mentioned, when I was 12 years old, I was chosen to be the provincial representative for Easter Seals. They called us Timmies back in
Mhm,
the dinosaur days, but
mhm.
at the end of the day, for me to gain the confidence to be able to, public speak and go out and share my awareness and advocacy for kids, youth, and young adults with disabilities. And now in my role, one of the highlights for me, I always say, it's my responsibility to go and check on the camps, make sure everything's going. But you and I both know that, that's my battery rejuvenation
Yeah.
day, because
Mhm, mhm.
getting to spend the time with the kids, it just re-energizes you, and puts into focus and perspective why we do what we do and the importance of the organization as a whole.
And so you were one of the pioneers, and you were in the era where, we didn't have the awareness, we didn't have the programs, we didn't have what we have today,
Mhm.
you know? And both you and I have the benefit of being able to look behind, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so going through that, how did it change? Because there had to be frustrations, there had to be um that growing up, right? How did you make it through that to become that positive light that you are?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of individuals like yourself who support it, and looked beyond the walker, looked beyond the wheelchair, the scooter, and looked at the individual, i.e., myself, and many other kids that are growing up to you know provide the advocacy and awareness. But getting that opportunity to look beyond and look at the person as a human, and what they bring to the table, or and just listening, hearing their stories, and the willingness to, it goes beyond, you know being helpful by opening up a door or putting a grab bar in a washroom. It's about, the way I look at it, Chef, is we're all in this world to be contributors to society, and some may require a little bit more assistance to make that happen. But um, it's an important opportunity, or aspect of giving every child an opportunity to be a child, to be a kid, and what they take from it from that point, um, that's purely up to themselves. But giving them that opportunity is the key. And again, we've had the pleasure of meeting a number of incredible young
Yes.
youth and
Yeah.
ambassadors, and amazing personalities. who have gone on to be successful Paralympians. They've gone on to
Hmm.
be, successful in post-secondary and universities and colleges, and
Musicians.
again, just it's amazing to watch
Hmm.
and see them develop. My ultimate goal is to create an opportunity for you know young people to take a look and say, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Hmm.
And it's also for the parents too, and it goes
100%.
beyond not only the professional aspect of my life, but also personal. A number of families, parents come up to Maria, my wife, and they say, like, you're a saint. You've been, and you know that beyond that, as she's an absolute saint. But the fact that it encourages families to understand that, yeah, my child too can be married and have a great life and be successful. And so those are the types of things that are, I'd like to make sure that encourage and try to keep a positive momentum, for each and every one of them.
Okay, so how did you get involved? Like, because when I met you, you were with WeCare,
Mhm.
and that was just me coming into the food service industry.